A man must have pride. A man must have ego. A man must have dignity. A man must have a sense of self worth. Regardless of what people tell you, you're supposed to have an ego. You're supposed to have, you know, a standard within how you see yourself, how you treat yourself, and everything. This doesn't mean be delusional about the world or anything, but a personal standard of what I am willing and what I'm not willing to tolerate, what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not willing to accept, and why. You should go watch my video on being intentional, but I'll talk about it real quick right now. Be intentional with the energies that you choose to engage with. Be intentional with all of that. But a part of that is like literally, you know, you need to have an ego as a man. And here's some of the reasons why. In this life, bro, whether you're at work, whether you're doing business, whether you're doing anything, you hear it all the time. The most successful people have to be delusional. They have a level of ego. You have to have a level of ego. You must think really highly of yourself, thinking you could actually do this thing. And your answer should be, yes, I do. And you need to be unapologetic about that. Unapologetic about that. Because that's the only way that you'll succeed. Every single person was once just like you. Every single person, every single successful person who you see, whoever, I don't care what their names are. Think about them. Think about, say this, whatever. Think about one of them. Say their name out loud. Just any name. They were just like you at one point. They're not better than you. They have elbows just like you. They have, everything just like you. And they were just like you, but they had an ego. And then they didn't just have an ego, they also relentlessly worked at that thing to back up that ego. Even if you're not there yet, you could still have your ego. This doesn't mean, not being open to like criticism or listening, but the ego that is, I'm good, I'm going to get good, I'm going to be so good, I'm going to get so amazing. It's just a matter of time. And working at that and acting like that. Walking into a room and literally not having like any type of shame or like feeling I shouldn't be here. It's like, nah, I belong here. You go start a new job, I belong here. You're at the gym, I don't care if you're fat as hell or skinny, I belong here. That needs to be your mentality. I belong here. Even just saying that alone just calms you down, gets you in your element a little bit. Just having that ego is so important. That mentality, that I don't care mentality, that so what mentality. Just knowing that, yeah, it's going to be difficult, but nothing's that difficult for me. Like literally, people will try to tell you that, oh, the male mustn't have an ego. You shouldn't have an ego. Egos is what kept humanity alive. The reason why you're alive right now is because your ancestors had an ego. They had an ego. They had a standard on what they were going to accept, what they were not going to accept. If human beings didn't have egos, your group, your kind, your species, our species would have died out a long time ago. If they didn't say no, if people didn't say no, I'm not going to accept or tolerate this type of behavior. The laws, the rules that you enjoy, the freedoms that you enjoy today, you wouldn't have them if people just didn't have egos and just allowed anything and everything, the inventions you have today, everything. You need to have an ego in this life. You need to have an ego. You need to have a way that you're going to carry yourself and why. And look, might it take you a long time? It could be. It might take you an extra year. Who knows? Maybe, you could start out the gym. Maybe you fat, maybe you skinny. Doesn't matter. All these guys are more in shape than you. I don't care. So what? I'm going to get there. I'm even going to be better than them. Just give me 6 months and I'm going to be there. And you go work at the 6 months. You see them. You're like, yeah, I'm getting better. And then you actually stick with it. You'll see where you're good at. But, that's how you got to be. Might it take you a little bit longer? It's fine. I know these guys, they might be better than me right now for whatever reason, but I'll be better than them. And there's nothing wrong with that. Having that relentless ego of, I want to be the best. I'm going to be the best. And being relentless with it. This is what I wanted to make this another video, but I guess it also aligns here, which is that like the human world is brutal. The world outside here is brutal. You might be living with your parents or whatever, but the world outside is brutal. And something that I will tell you right now is that the world is a ruthless competition between men or even women. But anyways, it's a ruthless competition. Ruthless. Everybody's competing. Everything that you want, other people want. The job you want, other people want. The position you want, other people want. Everything that you want to get, the house, the car, the money, it's a competition. So you need to have ego. You apply for a job, you're literally competing. So you need to have an ego that I'm the best, that we are the best, and we're going to work like we're the best, and we're going to get to be the best, and we're going to get there, or something like that. But and this is just part of being a man. You need to get into the competition mentality. Like, I'm not saying have random beefs with people, some like, oh, this guy, oh, just be one of these weirdos who are like competing with you. That's insecurity. I'm saying you're competing for the things that you want. You want to get into medical school? Okay, compete for it. Get open. Let's crack open some textbooks. Let's be the best biology student. Let's memorize all the parts of the brain. Yeah, You want to be the best basketball player? Okay, I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. and do these extra drills. I'm gonna run up these hills. I'm gonna do this extra cardio, these extra push-ups. I'm gonna do this extra film study at 5 a.m. or whatever. That's just how the world is. Now obviously you can't compete in everything. I'm not competing in baking. But that's just how it is. And just starting, like a huge part of being a man is just, especially in the beginning, just having no shame, bro. Not being scared what people are going to say about you. Yeah, it's okay. Look, at the beginning, no matter what it is, nobody started out perfect. Nobody started out perfect. Nobody was like, number one. Nobody started like that. Nobody. Everybody started out rough at the beginning. And then over time, the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth time, they got better and better and better and better. Things got better and better and better and better. So sometimes don't worry. Maybe it's your first time analyzing film. Be like, oh, I don't know where to start. Okay, let me just analyze their ball. Let me just analyze their positioning. Okay, start somewhere. Pick up some notes. By the time you're doing it the 10th time, you're going to notice things. You're going to see things that you just didn't notice. Maybe, I haven't studied in a long time. Doesn't matter. Open up the books. Let's do something. Let's try something. By the 4th, 5th time, you'll see where your blessing lies in. And that's just a part of like the human experience of just being a man. It's brutal, relentless competition. Another part of it is that in this world, it's every man for themselves, to tell you the truth. I'm not saying, you could probably get a group of 2-3 guys, that you can join together with, and you guys can work together and use each other's skill sets in order to move forward. Like as an example, I don't know, maybe one of your friends is really good at accounting. One of your friends is really good at logistics, and one of your friends is really good at sales. Given all your different attributes, you guys can work together. You guys are a unit now. But you're still competing against other guys. You're still competing against other people, other groups, other industries. It's still, whether you're doing it alone or not, but, you're going to need different skill sets. It's like a football team. You need different positions at a certain level, but you need to be at a certain caliber yourself so that you can qualify for these types of people anyways. That's the thing. Because these types of guys who are at that level, they don't want anybody as their teammate. And because they understand the competition is going to eat them alive if there's a weak link in the chain, And this is just the brutal realities of life. If you don't compete, if you don't be the best, you're not going to eat. Just to tell you the truth. When I remember when I was a kid, when I was younger, there was these school things, right? The top 10 in class, right? The best students who got the best marks. And we do it every single year for each grade. And I remember as the years went by, a lot of the students in our grade would be like, even people who we knew younger and older than us by a grade or two, they'd be like, oh, at least I passed, at least I passed. But then the older you get, you realize that the opportunities in life, they go to those guys. Not you, they go to them. The best when you hire some, even you right now, if you have a medical problem, don't you want the best doctor? If you have a legal, don't you want the best lawyer? If you have a legal problem, people want the best. People want the best phones, the best cars, the best restaurants, the best hotels. It's literally a competition. This people when they hire people, don't you want the best editor that you can find? I'm sure you do. Don't you want the best? You get the idea. So it's literally like that. When you become the best, you get to dictate things now. You get to pick and choose. You don't just when you're not the best, you just grovel, for anything. You just take anything that you can get because you don't get much anyways. But when you're the best, dude, life is different. People come to you. Like it's fundamentally a different human experience. I'm telling you. And that's what you got to be aiming for. Understand it's either I'm the best or death or nothing, because it really gets like that in this world. So that's also a huge part of it. So as a man, you must have an ego. You must have a not caring, not giving an F mentality. You must have a standard on what you're willing to accept, what you're not willing to accept. What is right, what is wrong, what is class, what is not. For what you're willing to accept. And be very intentional on why, on who. You might notice I'm talking kind of slow because I'm thinking about what I'm about to say. I'm not just trying to just say words. I actually came with this message like pre-thought out in a way, so they can flow better, So that's just a huge part of it. That's just a huge part of it. That you guys really must pay attention to,